Okay, we are on. Welcome to Thursday's live streaming of Effective Communication. I'm Arnie Buss, and I'm here with my wonderful partner, business partner, co-author, and bon vivant, Lee Garland.
Bon vivant, I like that very much.
And today we're going to talk about a topic that's coming up a lot, and that is how to deal with being reactive. Have you
What?
ever been?
What?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
What's wrong? What do you? What?
Have you ever found yourself in a conversation where just all of a sudden it's just like you feel overwhelmed with, with these emotions, and you just can't deal with it, and you, it's like you feel you have to like run away or something.
It's either a fight or a flight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is what both Arnie and I, this is what we both hear from clients just over and over and over again is that, well, but what do you do when somebody says something stupid? Or what do you do when somebody says something that pisses you off? Or what happens when somebody does something that you don't like or can't stand or what have you? And the one thing that we keep coming back to over and over is if you're going to constantly wait until you're reactive, you will spend your entire life being reactive. So okay, so that means there has to be a little bit of forethought involved in this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, therein lies the entire reason why you and I wrote the book Here. Therein lies the entire reason why you and I present and provide workshops and ongoing support. And therein lies the reason we provide coaching and individual help and help with couples. Because you have to do some pre-planning, some practicing. One of the biggest things in our book here on effective communication that we talk about is practicing this thing that we call the skills.
And what's helpful about the skills is that it gives us things to say, things to respond, ways of responding rather than reacting in the words. And that can be really valuable. I mean, just like if you're playing a musical instrument, if it helps to practice scales, practice etudes, practice licks, whatever it is, so that when you get out there and you're performing, then it just kind of, your fingers know what to do.
That's a great analogy, Arnie. If you think about that, anyone in the audience today, you think about being a musician and somehow you're never going to pick your instrument up, but you're going to go up, and when it comes time to perform, the lights come up, you have the instrument and you have no idea how to play it.
Yeah.
And so what you tend to do is you tend to blame the audience, the lights, the venue, anything except and you never, and it's not, and I don't mean, I'm not coming off
as this damn guitar.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily there's someone need to be blamed, but it's like, okay, and if you do some pre-planning, like practice, then when you get to Carnegie Hall, you'll be able to play. Yeah. Now, so, okay, having said that, and this being a short video dealy Bob, what are some things that we can give you all like right now today? Well, one of the things is one of the simplest things in the entire world, and it's the thing that very many people absolutely forget to do. What is that one thing? Well, I'll tell you. I'm so glad you asked. The one thing that the very start with is to breathe. It sounds trite, it sounds old hat. And look at how many times that you and I react without taking a breath first.
Yeah.
So simply noticing if someone says, so I'll say something to you, Arnie, that is, would tick you off, and don't breathe, just react. So how come these dishes are dirty? Arnie just peed his pants a little bit.
Yeah. Well, what's so insightful about that is that our physical bodies are also very much tied to our emotions. So it's like if I, just in that moment when I was going like this, it was like that also was raising my, again, the fight or flight type of thing.
Yeah.
And just taking a breath, just beginning with your body being just a little bit more present
Yeah.
is,
So
just
let's
helps
do it
get you centered.
again. Let's do it again. And this time consciously knowing that you're going to breathe. First of all, this is the practice that I'm talking about, is to consciously say to yourself, okay, I'm going to practice breathing. And maybe what you do is you practice breathing like all the time. Maybe you turn on the computer and before you look at the screen, you take a breath and then you look at the computer. Maybe you read an email. Maybe you watch a television show. Maybe you have a phone. That's two fingers. This is a phone.
Yeah.
So, but let's try that reaction and I'll do the same thing. And this time take a breath and see what happens. Arnie, the dishes are filthy.
See, I feel so much more, more relaxed, it's just like,
Right.
okay, yeah, the dishes are dirty. Yeah.
Right.
I'm able to focus more on what the message is and not on the energy coming at me.
Right. Your body is just so much less frozen. Before
Yeah.
you were frozen.
Yeah.
And, as children, we either learn that freezing or running, one of the two, and we take that through our whole adult lives. And it's not very helpful for adults to be running childhood behaviors.
No, it's not. And yet it's so often we do.
Right.
So,
And many of us say, well, many clients that you and I work with will say, well, I'm so used to doing that. It's more comfortable to just, not breathe, to just, and it's like, well, okay, it's not more comfortable. It's more familiar.
important distinction.
It is. If what you're familiar with is being, say, mistreated or judged or not listened to or railed at, if that's something you're familiar with, that doesn't mean you're more comfortable with it. Yeah.
I mean, how many times do we hear things like, wow, this person I married, they're just like my dad, or and in the worst ways too, So, and yet there's something, like you say, familiar about it. It doesn't feel good, but it's familiar.
Right. And boy, that's an interesting comment, Arnie, because that could be a whole episode or a whole nother chapter in the book, is the idea that the person that I'm with, we'll say it's a partner or a boyfriend or girlfriend or what have you. This person that I'm with or a family member irritates me in all these different ways. Okay, perhaps could you consider the idea that you have essentially, I don't want to say this in a woo-woo way, but you have developed a relationship with this person because this is something that you need to work on. So instead of blaming and saying, oh, he's always, she's always, they always do this and I can't stand that, if you could take that breath, just slow it down, take the breath and notice, okay, perhaps there's a way in which there's something for me to learn here. That's the next step, I think, to not reacting, is take the breath and just thinking the thought, okay, perhaps there's something here for me.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would say, in my experience, there always is something there. In other words, what I found is that if I can observe my own reactivity, then that's usually a pointer to some hurt that I have, some something that I haven't healed.
Yeah.
And that's a gift.
Yeah, it is. You know,
I mean, it sounds strange to say that, but it's like,
yeah,
with that, you know, that, yeah, that helped me figure out, identify something that I need to work on, like you say.
yeah. You know, it's so many, you and I both, and I can reflect on many coaching, many coaching clients that I have and have had will say to me, yeah, but it's always a yeah, but. Yeah, but I just can't stop doing this. And I will do what we learn in tracking. I will give them a gentle challenge. And what a gentle challenge in that case might sound like is, okay, so then you're really happy to continue with the situation as it is. And, 10 times out of 10, they'll say, well, no, but I can't stop it.
Yeah.
And so I remind them, okay, anything after the word but negates what you said before the word but. So the you want to have it different doesn't count anymore. All that counts is you can't stop it.
Right.
So let's figure out some tools for you to how to stop it.
Yeah.
There was you and I, Arnie and I have laughed a number of times. There's a wonderful comedian named Bob Newhart who did a wonderful bit on being a therapist. And, and you want to act it out? You'd be great. You'd be the therapist. I'll be the client.
Okay, all right.
So this is the therapist nobody wants. Arnie will be the therapist. Well, either that or the therapist everyone needs. I'm not sure. Oh, Arnie, oh God, I can't stop. I keep picking my nails and chewing my nails to the nub. I can't stop. I can't stand it. I hate myself, Arnie.
Okay, Lee, I'm going to tell you two important words, and I want you to remember these two words.
Okay. All
Are
right.
you ready?
I'm ready.
Stop it.
So even though that's just a great Bob Newhart bit, it's totally right on. So, okay. So how does one stop it?
Exactly. And well, one thing to circle back on just the most valuable thing that I've found with the skills, and that's learn how to track. Learn how to validate what the other person is saying without taking it personally.
Boom.
So, well, in our little role play before with the dishes, it's like the first reaction is the energy, the yelling, ah! But taking a breath lets me see, oh, yeah, dirty dishes. That's all there is. And, and Leah's upset about that.
Yeah.
What's, so is that about me? Well, yeah, maybe, yeah, I promised to do the dishes and I didn't. Am I responsible for Lee being upset? I don't think so. Am I responsible for doing the dishes? Well, yeah, I mean, I accountability is important. And that's something that we can work out without having to kind of go through all this. But in the meantime, here's, Leah's upset. That's, and Leah's somebody who's really important to me. And so if you're upset, then that's something that I want to help you with.
Yeah. And, I mean, okay, so that just makes perfect sense. And yet, so many coaching clients come to us. I'm not there in your coaching sessions, and I know I'm there in mine.
Yeah.
So it's so many coaching sessions in which the person is almost seeing their partner or their brother or their sister or their mother or their father as an enemy.
Mm.
And at some point I say, so maybe there's a point in which you decided that your husband was your enemy.
Yeah.
And so, well, he's always so unruly and so, and he's so horrible. I can't stand him. Okay. And so you've chosen to be with someone that you can't stand.
Yeah.
And to keep reflecting that back to somebody, it can be really helpful. Many of the coaching sessions, the person has come through a lot of situations and changes in their lives in which they're so much more, I don't want to say in control, but they're so much less controlled by
Mhm.
reaction.
Mhm.
And sometimes it just takes a long time. That's what I started off by saying, is that to think that you're going to do it like that,
Yeah.
you're going to watch this video and 20 minutes later, it's going to go like that. There has to be time to
Indeed.
practice, practice,
Yep.
practice.
How do you get to Carnegie Hall? Indeed.
So one way to practice, and you and I were talking, or let's say, I forget who else. Anyways, I was talking to someone about this, that to be able to track pretty much anybody, that, for example, I was at the health club and I'm in the sauna, and there's a gentleman in there and he is railing about, this darn such and such, this governmental blah, blah, blah. And he's just going on. And everyone in the sauna is like moving away from him and we're looking away. And I decide, okay, here's a perfect opportunity to practice tracking for me. It's not about him, it's for me. So as I'm listening to him, I think to myself, this person is upset. That's it. I don't, and so didn't have to move. I could move closer to him. I didn't have to move away from him. And as I continued to validate him, I did not agree with anything he was saying. Nothing he was saying were things I personally agree with. And I validated him. I just said, that whole situation is really off the charts for you.
Mm.
Absolutely. He says, they've been doing this for years and it's just terrible. And that's really got you really in a snit. This people don't understand. And after a while, he started to mellow. Now, I've gone to the gym 4 or 5 days a week for a long time. I see him most days. Now, when I see him, he says, "Hi, Lee." And I forgot his name, "Hi, Robert." And he'll say, "What happened, that thing that happened in the government today?" And I'll say, "Oh boy, that was really something." And it's like he comes to me as a person that he can trust, and I don't carry a big story about him. I'm relaxed around him and I enjoy his company.
Yeah. What a beautiful story. I mean, and would that we could do that with, there is so much division these days in the country over these different political opinions and things that are happening. And, would that everybody could do that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it can get to feel challenging, feel like that's the thing that happens in reactionaryism, is that there'll be a feeling that pops up in us. There'll be a sensation of some type. And it's generally some feeling of fear, shame. Even anger is really a secondary sensation to
absolutely.
things
Yeah.
like fear and shame. And so to realize, I react basically out of fear or shame. That's
Yeah.
pretty much it.
Yeah.
Pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, that helps. It simplifies it. Okay. I'm only reacting from fear or shame. Okay. So do I need to fear my husband or my wife? Was that
Well, I
part of
mean,
the
if you do, then these skills are not what is helpful. If that is the case, then call the hotline, get help, in some other way, that we're not talking about those kinds of extreme things. And when it comes to your significant other who drives you crazy, think about what is, what is my fear? What is my shame? What feelings of shame might I have around the kind of dynamics that are happening?
Yeah. And maybe it's just the shame of not wanting to be, quote, the loser.
Mm,
That if I somehow acquiesce to your behavior, you'll be the winner and I'll be the loser.
mm,
And by golly, I'm not going to be the loser.
yeah.
Well, is that really the dynamic that you really want to have in your intimate relationships?
Yeah.
It's hard for me to imagine that that's something that a person really does want.
Yeah.
And if so, then that person does really need to be on medication,
Yeah.
in my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing that I hear a lot of is people who are reluctant to really speak up, even in their relationship. The term "walking on eggshells,"
Yeah.
and they're usually it's kind of a fear that they're not going to get their needs met, or they're going to be that they're going to be put down, or that they're going to be felt to be ashamed for wanting something, or whatever. I mean, most of these, again, just kind of go back to old patterns, old wounds. And I mean, one of my clients recently reported that they had, there was this kind of longstanding thing that was going on with a coworker it was kind of irritating, but they just kind of put up with it for a while. And I had taught impact statements about it, and they said that they just sort of spontaneously expressed an impact statement, and she said it just went. Not only did it go beautifully, but it actually helped them feel closer afterwards, and which is exactly what it's all about.
Indeed. Yeah. So we've talked about a couple of different things, and if you're watching this for the first time, or if you're not that familiar with our version of effective communication and our book Here, I highly recommend that you get the book and read it. I'm not trying to make money off of books. What Arnie and I are trying to do is to make this a better place in which to live.
Yeah.
Our mentor, Selwa Saeed, who's the woman who we took almost all these learning from, she taught us that the value of wanting to do something, I guess, altruistically, or wanting to do something because it's just a darn good thing to do, that you end up, you end up feeling satisfied or fulfilled. You end up feeling joy out of that. And that's what happens in our book. And that's why when Arnie says impact statements, or we talk about tracking, in this 20-minute video, we can't tell you what that is. We've done in a few of the videos, we've gone over some of it and we've demonstrated it. But it's about the practice of it and learning what it is and how to do it.
Yeah. And if you'd like to learn more about that, leave a comment below and say, hey, I'd like to learn more about this, and watch some of the previous videos. You can, we're always happy to talk about this. I know you kind of mentioned some of these other things, but it's this business about reactivity and being triggered, that is something which you were saying, and my experience too, it comes up again and again. And what I found is through the skills, it becomes less. I wish I could say that I never get reactive. I would be lying, of course. And the other thing is that in working with people, that's often one of the biggest challenges that they say that they have is, what do I do when I get triggered? And today we've said first, the first and most important thing, stop and breathe. Breathe. That's something everybody can do. I mean, you've been breathing all of your life.
Don't stop now.
Yeah, exactly. But just to stop and just sort of take a breath. Just remind yourself, regardless of anything, take a breath before saying anything, and then see what happens. See what you notice.
Nice.
Just in that little gap between, as you put so well in the book, as between stimulus and response. It's like we're not automatons, we're not computers. We don't have to immediately react to something. We can stop and breathe, and also pre-plan, prepare. One thing that I've sometimes found valuable is to think about a conversation that kind of went a little wonky, or I felt a little weird about. Okay, what exactly did they say, and how did they say it? Well, and what could have I've said differently? How could I, maybe if I know a little bit about tracking or active listening or anything like that, what could I have said instead that would have validated the other person and
Yeah.
still kept me safe? Yeah.
Yeah, and this kind of practice is something that that is offered, in doing workshops with us or doing coaching with us, is that over time, then we're able to hook you up with other people, other like-minded people, other people who have the same challenges, and are able to support you and figure out, like these kinds of things. Well, let's practice that. What could I have done
Yeah.
differently?
Exactly.
Also,
And
now, do you have our website on the thing here below?
the website, it will be somewhere on the thing. Yeah, at least we're not sure exactly where the thing is, but it's going to be there somewhere. Yes. And yeah, the website is hereherebook.com, where it's not just the book, but it's the book and our courses and our coaching. And if you're interested in any of this, you can, again, put a comment below, or you can contact myself or Lee directly via message. And yeah, it is this is our passion to get these incredible skills out into the world. They help all relationships, and they help us. This has really helped me in my healing journey to know that I can respond to anything, and I don't have to take anything in. I don't have to take it personally. And even if I notice myself reacting, I can just stop, breathe, observe, and then, oh, I know how to track.
It's such a gift.
Yeah.
Such a gift. Are we out of time? I don't want to go over time.
We are getting to that time. It's always a great pleasure to talk with you, Lee. Thank you for that, and to all of you who are listening. It's our pleasure and gift to us that you are interested in learning about these skills. And if you want to learn more, again, post a comment. If you're interested in coaching from Lee or from myself, again, post a comment or contact us. And until next time, just be skillful, be in your aware, loving heart.